You actually talked about that in next episode.
Let me start that just section.
Yeah.
Just gonna do that. So I Yay, you're here. Welcome to How to Be a Grown-Up with CK and GK. Let's get started. Hello, friends. We're so glad you're here. Welcome to How to Be a Grown-Up. This is the show with hosts who are pretending regularly, just trying to be an adult on a regular basis. But then we try to teach them to you. So obviously we're somewhat experts. I don't know. We'll see. Today, well, first of all, let me back that up. I'm Caitlin, CK. With me today is my friend, Debra Doliner, who is the Austin head of marketing and growth for TULA Life Balanced. I'm so glad you're here today. We met a few years ago when our kids were in the same kindergarten class. She is the human embodiment of a perfectly balanced smoothie. She's just full of wisdom and energy and all kinds of let it get done vibes. She's amazing. And she's here to talk to us about our Spring into Self-Care series. She's got some tips on and just sort of words of wisdom on the things that many of us as moms struggle with, like managing our energy, managing our time, better work-life balance, which I think is the holy grail of all of this, right? And other forms of self-care. And because Tula's whole mission is to, and I love this, this is ripped directly from your website, and I love it so much, is to shift the second shift by empowering our clients to ask for help and prioritize with purpose, even when your to-do list is completely overwhelming. I think you're the perfect person to talk on those topics. But shift the second shift. That's so brilliant, right? Like moms, they have the whole day of whatever it may be, stay at home mom life, work, whatever it is. And then the kids come home and their partner is home and shift number 2, here we go. It's absolutely true.
Laundry
So,
and walk the dog and
oh man, so many things. So, I'd love to know where your journey with Tula started. Talk to me about that because this brand is it's really special as I look at it and kind of do my research. I'm very interested in this. Talk to me how you got started.
yeah. So I actually got started pretty recently, but I'm so just happy to be on board with that. And I got started because I was actually looking for more work-life balance in my life. But shifting, I really thought about getting back into the classroom and was trying to figure that out. So I was substitute teaching. And I just knew if I went back to teaching, it would take over my life. And I found TULA and I fell in love with their mission. You know, when you're looking for a job and it pops out on the page, and instead of sending the form cover letters, you're like, oh, wait, let me open up a new document. And I was just like in love with their mission of helping other women prioritize their life and help them focus on what really matters. And let me tell you, Megan and Cody are so delightful. They're the founders and the owners of TULA. And TULA is based in multiple cities from Denver, Boulder, Raleigh, Richmond, Aspen, Scottsdale, and Billings, Montana. I love that.
Wow. Billings, Montana, of all places.
Yeah. So I want to say Cody from there originally. I hope I have that correct. So they, of course, their hometown was like, we need TULA here. So they, of course, Austin. And so, yeah, I love it. And it's not only empowering the clients, but a lot of the personal assistants are moms too, who are just looking for extra work during the day and they love helping women. So it's really helping multiple people. And
I think that's great. So I love that it's kind of a two-way street for the assistants who are helping out.
And they make it easy. I think the important thing too is because they have an app. It's called TULA, TULA, and it makes it easy to ask for help. And that's one thing we'll touch on a little bit later. But a lot of people have a really hard time asking for and accepting help. So it takes away that barrier because it's a lot easier to type something into it than it is sometimes to call up someone and them for help.
Yeah. Oh, we've talked about that so many times, right? It's especially when you the weirdest, the worst question I think is, what can I do to help? Because that is, to me, that's a very overwhelming question. I'm like, just look around. Like, yeah, there was something everywhere you turn. But I also don't like being the person who says, like, well, I need this cleaned and the laundry really needs work. And right. So being able to just put it in an app where it feels less confrontational. It feels, I don't know, there's sort of a disconnect that kind of makes it easier to do that. I
Right.
like that process. Okay, so let's get into the self-care piece of this. I think that our listeners really want to know, more about those topics I touched on earlier, right? Like managing your energy levels and managing your time. Let's go there.
Yeah. So I think the first thing to recognize is that there's difference between physical energy and mental energy. And
Mm,
the funny thing is managing that is actually how we manage that is utilizing the same thing, but
mm,
recognizing within ourselves, like right now, I don't have the physical energy to do something. The best example is sometimes my son will say, "Hey, do you want to go outside and throw the Frisbee with me?" If his friends aren't available. And sometimes I have the energy and I'll do it. And other times I'm like, I just don't. Can we play a game? I'm like, I
mm,
just can't run around right. Um,
mm.
right. The mental energy, usually around 1 to 3 p.m. You'll have to tell me what time of day you're dead. But 1 to 3 p.m., I'm pretty like I just don't have a lot of mental space. And it'll recharge right after I pick my son
Mm,
up from. I don't know our, everything is cyclical. So that's I don't know. What time of day are
Right.
you?
Uh,
And
you know, so I have, it was about 2 in the afternoon, especially when I wasn't drinking coffee. Now that coffee is back in my life, it tends to be a little bit later, but the big crash for me tends to happen after my ADHD stimulant has wore off, which is right around 5 o'clock. And unfortunately, that's the same time that my son's mental energy tends to run out too. Right. So, because again, stimulants and those things that help us be functional during the day wear off by the end of the day. And so I sort of look around at that time of day, and that's also unfortunately when the second shift really picks up. Right. So for me, it's like this is the time when I need to be back up and running, but this is the time when I don't have it in me. And it'll come back in like an hour, like you said, but I need it to be there at
yeah.
5. And it's just not.
Yeah. Well, and so that's, especially with that is recognizing when it is. And so I don't know if for you, for example, I don't know if that means trying to shift dinner to a different time or what
Right.
have you, or work around that. But
Yeah.
yeah, and I think it's important for us to know thyself, to know when your energy is low and predict so you're not being hard on yourself every day. And
Yeah.
so for me too, one of the huge light bulb moments for me, and I think for everyone, is recognizing naturally, not just that, but our how we're spending our energy through the week. And the best way to say it to recognize whether or not you're an introvert, an extrovert, or an ambivert. And I think from listening
Mm.
to ambivert,
I think so. Yeah. I think it's so interesting because I definitely want my alone time for sure. But then I notice that I feel much more refreshed and happy after I've spent some time with people that I love, make me laugh, things like that. So I would say definitely ambivert for sure.
yeah. And for listeners that aren't sure, an ambivert is exactly between an extrovert and an introvert. So
Mhm.
sometimes there are people that love to socialize but don't parties, or that they love to socialize but still need that downtime after.
Mhm.
And so I think paying attention to limiting if you are an ambivert or an introvert, limiting your social events throughout the week, or you're just going to drain yourself completely.
Sure.
And I love my friends and family. There are some people in my life that I've learned that drain my energy.
Yes.
We paying attention to that and seeing how you can kind of protect it away.
Right. And doing so in a way that honors the relationship you have with that person. Yeah.
Say, oh, no, I'm going to have this time with them. They mean a lot to me, but I'm sure I'm going to be mentally drained after this. I'm going to watch my favorite light TV show.
Yes.
Words.
Yes.
The episodes of
Absolutely.
Yeah. And also we talked a little bit about this, about your slump, of making sure that if you have that slump in the day, trying to make sure that's not a time when you did be productive. So I've learned to schedule front load my work from that uses the most mental energy at the beginning of the day, and then taper off.
Yeah.
So, so for example, like emails and stuff like that, to me, I taper off towards the end of the day when they don't have to.
Yeah. That's really smart. Like if you're someone, I mean, if you heard that saying, eat the frog, where you do with the hardest task first, that might not work for some people. For me, I'm someone who kind of needs to start out with a few of the littler tasks first to kind of get my momentum going and feel like, feel like I'm accomplishing something. And then I can sort of tackle one of the bigger projects. But then you're right, I have to taper back down again. So just that know thyself piece is a really important one here. I hadn't thought about it that way, but just scheduling the things that take the most time and energy in a more mindful manner can really make a big difference. So
Absolutely. But I have to tell you, you said eat the frog. And I teach a work-life balance class here in Austin for TULA, and it's amazing. But I teach eat the frog. So for listeners, that does mean to do the thing that you don't like doing first. And I thought everyone knew that phrase, but looked at it. And the first time I mentioned it, I got some funny looks. And they were like, do what?
yeah, excuse me. I don't like frogs.
I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I've heard they're tasty. So
Tastes like chicken. I don't know.
yeah. And to also know what gives you energy. And I think you touched on this on one of your previous episodes, but it's worth re-mentioning. Sometimes we just need the reminder of opening the windows, making your bed, for a walk outside. You don't have to do all of these things, but eating a healthy breakfast, like really, really feeding yourself, staying hydrated. I was just reading, sometimes we hear stay hydrated, but we let it go. I was reading that even mild dehydration of 2% body water loss already slows down your brain function, has significant impact on how your mood is, your productivity. It impacts everything, just mild dehydration.
Wow. Oh, that's super interesting.
Yeah. And if you are severely dehydrated, it actually changes the cerebral volume of your brain by 5%. But yeah, you can actually change the volume of your brain just with water. So
Okay. Well, another case for those, 8 glasses? Oh, hang on to those emotional support water bottles, folks, because you need them. Who knew? Hydration. Okay.
So
Got it.
I don't know if my brain is on fire right now, but I was like, I'm going to make sure I'm not dehydrated going into this.
Well, and podcasting will dry your mouth out. I'm just going to tell you now, when you're talking a lot and it's not a social setting where you've got your beverage with you and you're kind of walking around and clinking glasses, this will do it. So for sure.
We should have a
great water. Yeah, we should. We'll just sit here and sip. If you hear me slurping, that's what I'm doing, guys.
So I will say this next one, and I will confess, I don't think I've ever really tried this purposefully, but I'm going to. As far as knowing what gives you energy, taking your shoes off and going outside and putting your feet. I've heard.
Oh, wow. Okay. That one I haven't done before. I have an alarm on my phone that tells me to go outside for 5 minutes. It's supposed to be in the morning because vitamin D in the morning is really helpful for, brain function and mental health and all those things. But sometimes I don't get to it till around noon. And sometimes I skip it. But now I'm going to add that little piece of if there's not too many bugs because the mosquitoes eat me, but I'll go put my feet in the grass. That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, literally touching grass.
Yes. I'll go do my neighbor's grass. Her grass is so much prettier than ours. Ours is all
just walk into your neighbor's yard with bare feet. No worries. Hey, just my mental health break for the day. No big deal.
I'm your old neighbor. What is she doing? Your grass is better than mine. Thank you. Yeah, I love it. And then there are, I don't know if you learned this, there are also breathing exercises to help actually regulate your energy. It can help bring your energy up or bring your energy down or calm you down depending on what you need. So I learned this from a guy named Yoga with Tim. Heard of him?
Okay. I have not heard of him.
Yoga is fantastic. He's very easy on the
Yes.
eye. And
Yes. Okay. Can we get behind it? I'm here for it.
I'm so grateful. His yoga videos are great. He actually teaches you what you're doing wrong and what you're doing right.
Mm.
And so I'll kind of go through the breathing. I won't go through it, but I'll explain. So if you breathe in slowly, but you only fill up your lungs like 80%, and then you're going to click for 4 seconds and then fill the rest of the 20% and then let it.
Oh.
That's supposed to calm you down.
Okay.
I want to say if you do the opposite, where you fill it up 20 and then fill it up 80 and then let it go. There are many breathing exercises that can actually help regulate your energy depending on what you need. So
Yeah. I've heard of like calming yourself down with breath, but I've never heard of hyping yourself up or giving yourself more energy. I'm sure that we've talked about, taking deep breaths to regulate, but that's a really interesting concept. I honestly never heard of that. I'm going to go look into that because that's a fascinating idea. Okay. I'm writing it down.
and I am not a breathing expert on this, but I know that there are also ones where you're supposed to like breathe in fast 4 times and then let it out and then breathe fast 4 times and let it out. And that's supposed to increase your energy. Again, my apologies. I don't have the exact.
No. If I find it, I'll put it on the blog post for this episode.
Yeah, they're definitely breathing exercises to help mood, to help energy. And I have used them. I've used them more when I need to, like, if I'm upset about something, I need to, like,
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. Okay.
yeah. And then the last one, as far as things that give us energy, have you heard of this 8-minute phone call? Like, call a friend for 8 minutes?
No. Tell me about this.
So I heard of it, I think from Simon Sinek. Are you familiar with Simon?
Okay. I've heard that name. Yes.
He's lovely. And he talks about that it only takes 8 minutes. That's all you need to call a friend, to offload like some mental either frustrations or to get energy, but call the friend that you know. Like, you don't want to call your friend who's going through like a major life situation. You want to call your friend that you're like, hey, like, all it takes is 8 minutes. And so that's not a lot.
Wow.
And it just helps shift your energy. And usually when you hang up the phone, you're like, okay, ready to get started on that task I was dreading.
Yeah. I'm going to put a little caveat there. There are friends who, despite what they're going through, are willing to listen anyway. I'm going to give Jenny a shout out here because that is that woman for sure. She will say like, oh, I know I'm dealing with things, but what are you dealing with? Because she just comes from a place of, yes, that's just how she is. One of my favorite questions to ask before doing something like that is, do you have the mental space for me to vent to you right now? Do you have it in you? Is it okay if I vent to you in this moment? If I can't, I will write it down and we can come back to it later or something. I'll find some other way to vent it out. Maybe I have been known to record a voice note of me like arguing to myself. I love it. It just felt good to get it all out, right? But I think asking that question, because also you might not know what that person is dealing with, in that moment or whatever. But
Right.
some friends are willing to take that on. So, but I love the idea of an 8-minute call. That's not a lot of time. Like you can spare 8 minutes.
Right. And I think Simon Sinek uses it specifically when you're like, I need to offload something. And what you said is so perfect, because the true measure of a very good friend is someone and that's my best friend, where she can be going through stuff and I can be going through stuff, but we're still here and still present, have that space for each other's issues as well.
Okay. So I think you've given us a lot to think about when it comes to managing our energy. These tips, can you compile them? Can you send them to us and then I can put them on our website? Where can we go to get a list of all of these to be able to revisit them?
Yes, absolutely. I'll send them to you for the website. And also we have a promo code for all your listeners.
Yeah. Gifts for listeners.
Yes.
And
Yeah, it's 20% off any TULA order for your first order.
Okay.
And it's grown up 20. What we did
I
there.
love it. I love
Correct.
it.
Yeah. So if you can just go in any of the app stores and download TULA, TULA, or go to our website at tulabalance.com. With that discount will be for y'all. And I just wanted to add there's this sweet quote that I came across about managing energy. And I think 'cause sometimes when we're looking for taking care of ourselves and self-care, we often are in this state of life where we're having a difficult time. And I just thought this
Mhm.
really, and it says your entire life can really change in a year. You just have to love yourself enough to know you deserve more and be brave enough to demand more and disciplined enough to work for more. So I think that the love yourself to know that you deserve more is really important here, especially when it comes to self-care and managing your energy and all the good things.
Absolutely. I love that. Um, let's take a quick break and we'll be right back with more fun stuff for our moms. And we'll be right back. Quick break again. For links to resources mentioned in this episode, head on over to ckandgkpodcast.com/blog to find everything you need. And be sure to follow us on social media. Head over to your favorite social media network and find us at CKNGK Podcast. And now back to the show. Okay, we are back and we just talked about managing our energy. And one of the ways that I manage my energy is by laughing and talking about silly things. And so I'd like to talk about our gems and our obsessions. Debra, do you have any obsessions right now? Yes, you don't have to. Okay, let's hear it.
I mean, I work for TULA, so I have to be like, it's the TULA. So I do love the TULA. That was the obvious one. But I'm also obsessed. I'm get my phone to like pull it out. It's called, this is a new obsession. I just found out about this a week ago.
Okay.
It's called the Yuka app. It's YUKA.
Okay.
And it's a health food app, but you use it to scan any barcode and it will give you a ranking of poor, good, excellent for
No.
items. And so my younger brother told me about this and I went around your pantry and I was like, well, so basically I need an entire new and because he was on the phone at Central Market trying to find better snacks for his kids, toddlers. And so I just pictured him going into a entire store, scanning all of. That's great. So, basically, we only had 2 items that were good. They were in the green. That was it. But they give you a better suggestion for what you should be buying. Telling you. So I did scan a can of black beans because I knew that had to be. And I was like, hey, look, something in the green. So you can, if you would like to feel very shameful about what's you're being helpful about. Here. Here. Like, I'm just thinking about the nerd gummy clusters that I have in my pantry right now. What's that going to show up? They're so good. No, I was like, I really want to take it to the grocery store just to see like what's the lowest rate. What's it gonna be?
Oh, man.
The double stuffed Oreos?
I mean, maybe, I don't know, those gummy clusters might rank pretty high on that bad food list, but that's okay.
Yeah. So wait,
Skittles with their red number 5. All right.
what's your
I mean, I have a few right now, but I'm going to share this one. It's makeup because of course it is. It's Clinique's Almost Lipstick.
Whoa.
It's a lip balm. This color is called Black Honey. Yeah. It looks good on every single skin tone that I've seen. Like there's all these different women with obviously a wide range of skin colors all using the same one. And I'm going, how does it look gorgeous on seriously every single skin tone? And it's not so lipsticky that it feels like waxy or it feels like lip balm that will actually, help your lips out when they feel chapped.
Yeah. Did you
I
say
don't
it's
know
called
about
honey?
Black Honey is what it's called, is the color. It's almost almost lipstick by Clinique, and the color is Black Honey, and it looks good on every.
It's like a mauve, not a mauve, but like a maroony.
it looks like like a blackberry almost, just the color, but it doesn't come out like that. And it looks really good on everyone. So I'm really into this.
I
And
really
it's
want research on this because I swear to God, I used that color in high school. Like, and that's not a not
Yes.
thing.
Was it a
Oh,
Dr. Pepper? Was it a Bonnie Bell lip
oh,
smacker?
because there was
It's probably one of those.
no, I swear, I really wish I had a time machine now.
And my favorite thing about it is that I don't feel like it's kind of dummy proof. I can just put it on if I don't have a camera in front of me. Like basically it's what I use like before calls to like make myself look less dead. Is I put this on and I don't feel like it's going to get on my teeth or it's going to get all over my, around my lips instead of on it. Like I just really like it. So
I'm
highly
gonna go.
recommend Almost Lipstick. You can find it on the store that does the A to Z thing. And if you're not interested in buying from them right now, you can find it probably anywhere that you can buy Clinique products. So
With A to
there you
Z.
go. The Amazon store,
Oh,
everything from A to Z. That's their. Have you seen them?
yeah.
If you look at their logo, it's got an arrow that goes from the A to the Z. Amazon is everything from A to Z. You'll never be able to unsee it now. It
Okay.
looks like a smile.
Life just dropped. Oh my God. I would, because there's so many times I've stared at like I have a life, but like when I've looked at the Amazon logo, I'm like, it's a smile.
Right. It looks like a smile. It's an arrow from A to Z.
All
See,
right.
learning things that
Okay.
grown-ups
I like
need to
it.
know. That's what we're here for.
Like the arrow. Very learning
Uh,
about these things. Very important. Uh, but some of
yeah.
those things, I just don't know.
Yeah, no. And then you'll never unsee it. Now that you look at it, next time you look at it, you'll be like, oh, what about gems? Aside from learning about the
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
seeing all the stuff in your pantry that makes you upset, what else do you have? Any gems for me?
Are my obsessions?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So then it's in Austin.
Okay.
But hope other cities. I'm sure other stores sell it, but there's a taco place here called El Taquerito, and it's not
Mm.
tacos are really good, but they have a drink called the Equinox. It's horchata with espresso shots.
Oh,
And so Vigo is like a treat, and it is so good. You can get a double for really,
yeah.
but it's like, if we're like, oh, we really, really want a coffee treat, Vigo is so amazing. If you like horchata and espresso, the Equinox El Taquerito.
Nice. Here for it.
What about you?
My gem. Okay. So this is my son. I mean, you know my son. You've known him for a while. I will say the last time our kids saw each other was a while ago, but he is the same. So just silly and whatever. But now something about them being 8 or almost 9, there's like a little bit of sass that's coming in. It's like adult sass, right? So the other day I'm using a face mask. This one of my hacks for making myself get in the shower is I'll put on a face mask and preferably one that I know will not burn because that's not the right word, but like tingle a little bit if I leave it on for too long because then I'm like, oh my God, I gotta get this off. I'll
Yeah,
get in
yeah,
the shower. And I was using another brand I'm going to throw out there, but it's the Ordinary's AHA, BHA mask, and it's red. It's like a red sort of slime, and you put it on your face, and it's supposed to be like a chemical peel sort of feeling. Well, I put it on, and I go out into the living room, and my son, so like my face is covered in like reddish stuff. And the first thing my son says, deadpan, gives me one glance, turns away, and he goes, "You look like a murderer," and then just
nice.
I look like a murderer? And he's like, yeah, there's blood all over your face. Like, what'd you do to yourself? And I was like, it's a face mask. And my husband's like trying to keep it together. Like, because he knows I don't want to be made fun of in this moment because I'm clearly desperately trying to make myself take a shower. But just the deadpan, you look like a murderer.
But thanks. Like
Yeah.
what? I'm
Like
like
a
a
murderer.
murder skin. Have you seen?
Right. Right. Not every murderer can look this good. Are you joking? Yeah. So
That
thank you to my son for making me feel really great about this.
Yeah. Well, does it make your skin feel amazing? Sure.
It tingles a little bit, and they tell you like don't leave it on for any more than like 10 minutes because you'll feel it, so I leave it on. I have more sensitive skin, so I leave it on for like 8, and then I will go get in the shower. But yeah, no, you feel good. Like it helps. I like it. So it's The Ordinary, which is it's a inexpensive brand, high quality product that I really love. So it just looks for the thing that looks like a vial of blood.
Nice.
In a bottle.
Yeah. I love their stuff.
Yeah.
I use forget what the name of the chemical is, but I use they call it Botox in a bottle. It's not Botox, but it's to chill off gray forehead wrinkle.
Yeah, got that stuff too. But I actually use the Botox, so there's that. Okay. So that feels like a good place to wrap up this episode. So we talked about managing your energy. And Debra will be back next week with more about managing our time and a better work-life balance. And until then, Jenny would tell you to make good choices. So I'm going to say do that and take a few deep breaths, manage your energy because that's part of taking care of yourself. Self-care. You deserve it. Okay, bye.
Hey friends, thanks for listening to the CK and GK podcast. Find us at CK and GK podcast on Instagram and Twitter, and rate, review, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Good Pods, or anywhere else that you pod. See you next time.